I really recommend that you get on YouTube and you look up the James Kawalia testimony. It's not new. It's been out a couple of years, 3 years or something. And it's his story as a really high level witch from, called, really set apart for Lucifer at his birth. And then getting sucked into, because his name and reputation was such that he got sucked into the system, which is the new word for Illuminati, the system. So it has a few brotherhoods throughout the world, and one such brotherhood nabbed him and took him to the high level, where he was then made a regional commander in Africa under the system, which is directly under Lucifer. So it's an amazing tale, and the things that it will get over to you is you'll start to have a concept of rulership under principalities and powers, and our role as church, which is rulership directly under the Lord Jesus Christ, and we are affecting regions for Christ. It'll just give you an insight into what church is doing. Secondly, I would like that you listen to some of Jessie Sebotar's messages, which are she's dismantling things like Mormonism, but she's speaking about other brotherhoods as well, and she's speaking about regional and territorial spirits. So that information she's sharing, it just lifts us from the little idea that we're preaching a gospel. I say a little idea, but just an individual gospel. No, we are servants under the God, his Son, who has been installed on the holy hill as the Lord. And he gives directions and specific steps of obedience whereby we can bring territories under him and his name. And prayer, practical steps that he will tell us to do. But it just lifts your vision, because we are not evangelicals cowering behind chairs, just desperate to make it to our coffin. We're not charismatic people who do no more than have brilliant meetings. I'm not knocking the meetings, but if you read the Bible and look at the apostles, they were building more than blooming meetings. They're very clear that they were there to disciple nations. That's what we're doing. So, and we have to know him. We have to know Jesus, and we have to see what he's doing, just as he did the same in his earthly ministry, looking to the Father and seeing what the Father was doing. So that's what we're really doing. We have to move back into what an ecclesia is, because it's not a Bill Johnson church. It's not a Rodney Howard Brown church. It's not, some big Elim church in London or whatever. That's not what it is. That's a massive synagogue. Church is something formed of the Spirit that is supernatural, because you can't get 12 totally different personalities not only functioning together, but functioning in this high realm of being a Melchizedek priest for Jesus together. And moving in extraordinary powers. This is Acts. It's been done once. Jesus has proved you can do it. So there is no excuse anywhere on the planet for not repeating that. And the crash barrier that we have to go through is 1 Corinthians 12, 14 to 26. And it's not easy, because the two rollouts that we do have for us, well, you could include Gideon's 300 as well, but the two main rollouts are crashing through that very barrier. The fact that they sold Joseph, misunderstood him, just totally didn't get him, and they sold him down the river. And then the disciples more or less did that to Jesus during the time of the cross. And they had to come into unity again, both of those. And they're now elders in heaven. It was so big. They are now the elders before the throne. But nevertheless, there are demonstrations of us that the kingdom actually works. Evangelicals don't know that. Charismatics don't know that, really. They know meetings work under one pyramid person in charge pulling the strings and then letting us go and worship for 20 minutes or 30 minutes, but then pulling the strings again. None of us know what ecclesia is. Ecclesia is not run by a man. That's the significant thing with Acts. And so it's really, if we're going to come into taking territories for Jesus, it might be good if he had just had one church in the world that worked. What do you think? See, a lot of you just think a synagogue is a church. It's not. Church is something called ecclesia. It's said that for a reason. It is the Greek meaning of church. Or ecclesia means called out people to form a council. And we're more than that because we're Jesus' bride as well. We're Jesus' beloved bride. He is our lover. So it isn't purely a council thing. Matthew people love that stuff. But there's other people in the body apart from Matthew. There's Mark's who are more relational, and there's Luke's who think things out more, and there's John's who gather the eagle position of seeing the whole blueprint from heaven down. But it's not just a cold council thing, because this is relational. But nevertheless, there is that council aspect. And it surely well isn't a Bill Johnson and Rodney Howard Brown synagogue. No. And they don't really want that either. They want the kingdom to come too. I hope, is this getting in? Are you starting to see there's some bigger things afoot?